Akiyua is not your average girl. She's one of the hottest idols right now and the granddaughter of Taha Akitezo, the big boss of the Takin Group, a major corporation in Japan. With her wealth and influence, she's basically a real-life princess. Then there's me, Suzuki Kasuma. I'm just a regular gloomy guy with no friends and definitely no girlfriend. I'm the definition of a loner. My whole life has been spent in Taki's shadow. I don't want to be special like her. I just want to have friends and maybe a girlfriend, like a normal person. I once opened up to her about how I felt, but she shot me down hard, saying I was just a gloomy loser and that I should know my place as her childhood friend. That phrase has haunted me ever since, making me feel like I'm stuck in a cage. But then, one spring day in my first year of high school, I got a text from her asking if I could meet her at the train station. She was going karaoke with some friends and wanted me to join. I was surprised. Why would she want me there? I thought about it and realized that maybe this was my chance to change things up, to finally make some friends, and maybe even find a girlfriend. So I decided to give it a shot. I dressed up as best as I could and even got a haircut. I was feeling hopeful as I walked into the VIP club where they were hanging out. But as soon as I stepped inside, everyone started laughing at me. They were mocking my new look and how I tried to dress up. It felt like a setup and I was crushed. Even Taki, who I thought would support me, joined in on the laughter. I stood there, feeling completely humiliated. One of the girls in the group, who was usually nice, asked me why I was just standing there. It felt like they were all waiting for me to break down and cry. I couldn't take it anymore and asked what I did to deserve this treatment. Taki's response hit me hard. She made it clear that I was just her slave, there to entertain them with my struggles. Hearing that felt like a part of me shattered. I realized that this friendship was toxic, and I didn't want to be tied to it anymore. So I decided it was time to cut ties and walk away. Rua, the main character, blurted out his feelings, leaving her completely stunned and upset. In a flash, she started yelling, questioning who he thought he was and if he even understood what he was saying. He shot back, pointing out that she was the one who had been complaining all along. She snapped, saying she had every right to dislike him, but he didn't get to feel the same way about her. It was ridiculous that someone like her, a top idol, could act this way. Frustrated, he slammed his fist on the table and stormed out, declaring that it was over between them. The guys in the room were sweating and whispering to each other, calling him lame and telling her not to worry about him. But she was crushed. One of the girls gasped, realizing the table was actually broken, wondering if he really did that with just one punch. They all doubted it, thinking the table must have already been damaged. The girl who was crying vowed she would never forgive him for what he said about their friendship. Meanwhile, as he walked home, the main character felt a strange sense of relief wash over him. It was like the world was brighter. He questioned why he had let her control him for so long. He decided he would rather go through high school alone than be tied to someone who treated him like that. With a newfound sense of freedom, he realized he didn't have to live in her shadow anymore. His perspective had changed, and a new chapter was beginning for him. At the same time, we see the chairman of the Takin Group, Tatsuo, who was also the director of Takin Academy. When someone called him Grandpa, his demeanor softened, showing a caring side. Then, Rua walked in, complaining about how Kazu had been mean to her and claimed he wanted to end their friendship. The woman with Taki turned to Rua, surprised by what she heard. This was Taki Jakira, Rua's cousin. She couldn't believe Kazu had stood up to Rua for the first time. Taki asked if Rua had said something to provoke him. Ru looked a bit taken aback, insisting she hadn't done anything wrong. She explained that she only teased him about being her slave and how it was tough being his childhood friend. Everyone in the room understood the situation, and Taki pointed out that what Rua said was pretty harsh. Tatsu agreed, saying it made sense for Kazu to be upset. But Rua couldn't grasp it, insisting she was just joking around. As soon as Kazu started high school, he suddenly wanted friends and a girlfriend. It seemed so silly to Rua. Her cousin chimed in, saying it's normal to want more friends, but Rua disagreed, insisting that he already had her, the cutest princess around, always by his side. The thought of him wanting to get close to anyone else, especially other girls, was just unbelievable to her. She figured it was okay to tease him a little since she was the only one who truly understood him. She even declared her love for him out loud. Her grandfather, who was always doting on her, agreed that it was Kazu's fault for wanting more. But her cousin pointed out that if Rua wanted to make things right, she should be the one to apologize. Rua firmly said there was no way she would do that. She turned to her cousin, reminding her that she was supposed to be Kazu's mentor and needed to fix this. She wanted Kazu to apologize to her and confess his love, even asking for a kiss. Her cousin raised an eyebrow at the mention of a kiss, teasingly suggesting that their grandfather wanted Kazu to be Rua's future husband. The grandfather confirmed that was the plan, explaining he had assigned her cousin to teach Kazu martial arts and leadership skills. He believed Kazu was a special talent, one that Rua liked too. They all agreed that Kazu had potential. Rua's cousin recalled how Kazu had always kept his grades average on purpose, just to blend in. He had been training to be Rua's shadow all along. If he ever stopped holding back, he could easily be at the top of his class, and not just in school. He could shake up the whole country. On top of that, Kazu was super popular with girls. They had to transfer out because they liked him so much, and he didn't even realize it. The girls around them giggled, clearly smitten with him. Rua's grandfather noted that Kazu was a great candidate to take over the Taken group. But now that Kazu had cut ties with Rua, he had no reason to hold back anymore. Whether it was sports, studies, or romance, things could get wild. The next morning at school, Kazu found a bench with a message written on it. "Looks like your seat was reset. Day 1, lol." He couldn't believe it. Some guy had actually stood up to the princess, and it made him feel like a fool. Kazu thought about it and realized that his childhood friend, the ultra-rich heiress and top idol, was really the worst person ever. With that in mind, he figured he had two choices. Either reset the desks and chairs to their proper places and go to class quietly, or run to the staff room. But he quickly dismissed the second option, since this was her academy, owned by her grandfather. The academy's mission is to train top-tier talent and become the best in the world. It's known to everyone as S-Class Academy, focusing on sports. Students who excel in their fields get their tuition and dorm fees waived. They recruit talented students from all over the country through a special scholarship program. Those with outstanding skills are placed in the upper ranks, while the rest are considered lower ranks. This class system runs the academy, sometimes hidden and sometimes right in front of everyone. The most powerful person at the academy is Tiki Rua, also called Princess Rua. Her grandfather is the chairman, which means all the teachers treat her like royalty. Kazu knew that if he went to the staff room with a complaint, it wouldn't end well for him. So he decided to go with option 1, put everything back in its place and stay quiet in class. But he quickly changed his mind, thinking about how he wanted to live independently. He pulled out his pen and wrote down a third option. He decided he would study on his own and marked himself as present. The other students were shocked, wondering if he was really going against the princess. They knew it could cause trouble if anyone found out. Kazu then opened a door to an underground library, a hidden spot that most students and even some teachers didn't know about. As a regular at the academy and a senior on the library committee, he had access to this secret place. He planned to wait there until class was over. He just wanted to live a normal life, but now that he had stood up to Rua, he figured he wouldn't be able to make friends or find a girlfriend, so he resolved to live on his own. As he entered the room, he accidentally walked in on a girl changing. She was in her underwear and freaked out, screaming in surprise. Kazu had no idea that this was just the beginning of a story where he sought an ordinary life but ended up surrounded by extraordinary girls. His life was about to get a lot more complicated. Meanwhile, Rua was thinking about how Kazu might be regretting his decision and wondering if he would come crawling back to apologize. She was excited about the drama that was unfolding. In the library, Kazu quickly apologized to the girl, introducing himself as Kazu Suzuki from class 1 to 3. The girl, still covering herself, introduced herself as Main Mendo from class 3 to 2. She also apologized for yelling. Kazu turned away, feeling embarrassed, and admitted he should have checked before entering. He asked if she had heard about this place from the library committee, and she nodded while putting on her shorts. Kazu, still facing away, mentioned that he wasn't the only one who knew about the place. The girl finished putting on her sporty clothes and opened the door, telling him she was all set now. When Kazu turned to look at her, he saw a beautiful girl who apologized for making him wait. He had a blank expression as he asked why she was in gym clothes and why she was changing there in the first place. She seemed surprised by his questions and quickly apologized, explaining that she was looking for a spot to practice her singing and dancing. She remembered someone had shown her this hidden place before. She went on to say that she was a voice actress and had an upcoming performance, so she thought this would be a good place to rehearse. Kazu realized she was part of the entertainment world, which reminded him of his childhood friend and other students at the academy who were also in the industry. She was likely one of the special students the academy had high hopes for. He noticed she even brought a full-length mirror, showing her dedication. But then he asked about her glasses, and she looked startled. She explained that when she got to school that morning, her desk and chair had been put out in the hallway, with a sign saying there was no seat for her. Tears welled up in her eyes as she recalled the moment. Kazu's expression turned serious as he thought about how he had heard something similar before. He felt a surge of anger as his phone buzzed with a notification. He checked it and saw a message from the so-called princess of the school, asking where he was and if he was late. She mentioned some videos she had posted earlier, saying everyone thought he was a jerk. She threatened to leak his name in her next video, warning that her fans would come after him. She added that if he dragged his desk back into the classroom and knelt down to beg, she might forgive him. Kazu looked at the message with a grimace and quickly hit the block button, effectively cutting off the princess. He then turned his attention back to Mando, asking why she was dealing with such a tough situation. Mando shook her head, insisting that being a scholarship student didn't mean much. She explained that even though she was a voice actress, she wasn't popular at all, and she felt insecure about her looks and voice. Kazu couldn't see her face clearly because her bangs were too long, but he thought her voice was cute. When he complimented her, saying it sounded like a bell, Mando blushed and turned away, denying it. She mentioned that there were many better voices in the idol and voice acting world than hers. Kazu realized she was talking about Rua, the princess. Mando explained that she ended up forming a unit with Rua, which was probably why she was getting harassed. Kazu finally understood. He had seen a lot of nasty comments on social media about Mando teaming up with Rua, saying it would ruin Rua's reputation. He expressed his frustration, calling out the awful fans. When he asked why she teamed up with Rua, Mando looked at him, surprised by his bluntness. Kazu quickly corrected himself, realizing he had called Rua a pig. Mando explained that it wasn't her choice, it was the agency's decision. Since they were in the same school and agency, they thought she would be a good background support for Rua. Kazu thought that was pretty harsh. He knew the agency would do anything to promote their artists, especially since they were backed by the huge Takin group. He figured Rua probably had a hand in the whole desk and chair incident, showing her disdain for being paired with someone she considered beneath her. Despite everything, Mando said she was okay with being background support. She saw it as a rare opportunity and wanted to give it her all. Kazu admired her determination and smiled, asking if that was why she was practicing here. When she confirmed it, he offered to keep her company during her practice, promising to give her feedback, even if he was just an amateur. Mando's eyes lit up with excitement as she accepted his offer, saying she would count on him. Kazu couldn't help but blush, thinking she was way cuter than Rua. When lunch break arrived, Kazu noticed Mando had been practicing hard since morning and worried she might get dehydrated. He decided to bring her a drink. Just then, he heard someone calling for him. It was Rua, the princess, demanding to know where he had been and why he was skipping class. Kazu sighed, knowing this was going to be another annoying encounter. Rua started complaining about him blocking her on Messenger, insisting that no one was allowed to ignore her. She went on about how beautiful she was, asking if he was embarrassed to look at her. Kazu just ignored her and tried to walk away. Rua got angry, calling him a gloomy idiot. Suddenly, a delinquent boy named Asano stepped in, demanding to know why Kazu was giving Rua the silent treatment. Asano was a promising student from the baseball club and seemed to have nothing better to do than hang around Rua. Kazu thought if Asano had so much time to waste, he should be practicing instead of defending Rua. Asano grew more furious, asking if Kazu was making fun of him. Kazu, feeling fed up, decided to confront him, ready to stand his ground. Kazu watched as Asano tried to punch him, but he was quicker and dodged easily. Asano was confused, thinking he had just hit Kazu, but felt nothing. He turned around, surprised to see Kazu behind him, wondering how he had gotten there. Asano thought maybe he was just weak for missing the punch. Kazu taunted him, asking if he was out of shape. Asano got even angrier, demanding to know what Kazu had said. He swung at Kazu again, but this time, Princess Rua stepped in, telling him to stop. Asano was taken aback by her intervention. Rua declared that only she was allowed to mess with Kazu, and warned Asano not to touch him. He didn't fully understand but agreed, knowing Rua had a crush on him. Kazu called out to Rua, blushing a bit. She asked what was up, and he told her that no one was allowed to bully him, no matter who they were. He said it firmly, which surprised her. Kazu then told Asano to just leave him alone. Rua sat on the ground, and others rushed to check on her, asking if she was okay. She thought about how cool Kazu had been, and her feelings for him grew stronger. A week passed, and Manda was practicing her dance moves in the hidden library. Suddenly, she stumbled and was about to fall, but Kazu caught her just in time. She was flustered and apologized, calling him Suzuki-kun. He reassured her, saying he didn't want her to get hurt before her big performance. Mondo praised him, saying he was always there to catch her when she tripped. Kazu brushed it off, saying it was no big deal, but Mondo insisted that he had been a huge help to her since that day. She thanked him sincerely, which caught Kazu off guard, since no one had ever said anything like that to him before. He replied that he hadn't done anything special and suggested that when she returned to the center stage, it might look better if she walked back normally instead of spinning, as it made her lose her balance. Mando considered his advice and thought about how she could jump back in one move to stand out more. She initially thought it was impossible since the center of the stage was at least 5 meters away. Kazu encouraged her, showing her how to use her knees for strength. He jumped high, surprising her as he landed smoothly. Mando was amazed, asking if he had bounced like a trampoline. She complimented him, saying his PE grades must be great. Kazu shrugged, saying he had always gotten average grades in PE. Mando asked what he meant, and he noticed her posture was a bit off. She admitted she had trouble fixing her slouch, which had even annoyed her choreographer. Kazu suggested she could use that slouch to her advantage. He demonstrated a movement like a cat's paw, and Mando started to mimic him. She kept practicing her dance, making cute cat poses, and Kazu thought she looked adorable. As she danced, drenched in sweat, she felt like everything was finally coming together. Kazu suggested that Mando should ask the costume designer to make her some cat ears and a tail. She agreed, sounding excited, but then hesitated, saying she couldn't use that for the unit. Kazu was curious and asked why not. Mando explained that she didn't want to overshadow Rua. Her role was to help Rua shine. Kazu was a bit taken aback, but asked if that was really okay with her. Mando confirmed it, saying that while singing and dancing weren't her strong suits, she wanted him to watch her practice her acting instead. As a voice actress, she dreamed of performing as an animal character. Kazu noticed the sparkle in her eyes as she spoke about her passion. She expressed her determination to give her all in her current work, hoping it would lead to voice acting opportunities. Kazu admired her positivity and felt a bit speechless. He told her he was envious of her enthusiasm. Mando was surprised and asked if he didn't have any dreams or goals. Kazuru replied that he just wanted to be ordinary, to live a life he could be proud of. Mando encouraged him, saying she believed he could achieve that. Kazu felt a warmth in his heart and thanked her. Mandu blushed at his words. Then she hesitated, saying she had been wondering about something. She mentioned hearing that he had a fight with Rua and worried it might be because of her. Kazu quickly reassured her that it wasn't related at all. Mando looked a bit sad when she realized Rua was his childhood friend. Kazu clarified that they weren't close anymore, so it didn't bother him. Mando seemed surprised, but also relieved. She leaned in closer, about to say something, when suddenly, Princess Rua burst through the door. Rua shouted at Kazu, demanding to know what he was doing with Mando in such a cramped space, accusing them of playing house even though her chances were gone. Mando looked at Rua, tears welling up in her eyes, sensing the tension in the room. It was clear that things were about to get intense.